Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Am I the a-hole for not telling my boyfriend that I won money 15 years ago? Posted by Sweet Cherry Pies. My boyfriend, 35 male, and I, 35 female, were discussing finances as we want to be on the same page. He moved in with me unexpectedly 3 months ago, as his landlord decided he wanted to move into the property with his family. We were discussing finances and the topic of how I own my own place came up. I explained that I want some money, not a lot, but enough to put myself through nursing school, purchase my own home, and have some savings. Back in 2009, and I bought my place outright and then rented it out until I moved back into it in 2018. Obviously, I had some luck on my side, as this was right in the middle of the recession, so I got my place for real cheap. He says I deceived him by giving him the impression that I was financially well off, and that I led him to believe that I was more business savvy than I was. I don't know how I did that, because I literally work as a nurse and make decent money, fully own my own home, fully own my own car, and have a decent retirement plan and decent savings. I'm fairly certain that I am financially better off than most people I know. He says he can't trust me anymore, and that he was stupid to have listened to my financial advice, but the thing is, I never gave him any financial advice, except for telling him to not buy a car that was, in my opinion, unreliable and much too expensive. Did I deceive him by not telling him how I got myself financially stable? FYI, we've been dating for almost a year and a half. Update. I just had another very weird conversation with him, and honestly, I can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, so he's definitely a gold digger. He asked me how much money I have in savings, and seemed impressed with how much. He then said, maybe he reacted too aggressively, and then told me that he still wants the car that I advised him not to get. He hinted at me getting it for him as a birthday present, since it's his birthday in early March. I am definitely dumping him. I'm going to wait until my 2 sisters and my 2 brother-in-laws can come over before I break up with him, in case he reacts crazy. He's jealous and also resentful. He's ranting about how he would have tripled the money if he'd won it. By buying expensive, crappy cars? Yeah, I'm sure. He's saying that my money is wasted on me because I don't make it make money. Apparently, I should have been investing my savings in high-yielding stocks and other stuff. FYI, I do get financial advice from a financial advisor I trust. I'm a risk-averse person, so I would never invest it in the manner this idiot is telling me to. Sure, the chance to get a lot of money is there, but so is the chance to lose it all. He's now on a crazy rant because I suggested we take a break from this argument because I don't want to ruin my few days off. My god, I can't believe how he's behaving. He thinks he's so clever, but I'm thoroughly disgusted. Oh, it is absolutely over between us. Update 2. Okay, so I understand him better now. So my house and the property it's on is what led him to believe that I was much richer than I am. He assumed that I was loaded. So me telling him that I actually got lucky pissed him off. Then when he found out how much in savings and assets I have, he perked up and had a change of mind. He's now telling me that just with a quarter of my money, he can show me how to invest in the stock market and make some real money. He is genuinely deluded. He wants you to give him a quarter of your money? You are financially savvy. You bought a house and put yourself through school and saved the rest. You still have your winnings. I mean, your house is probably worth even more now. I bet if he'd gotten that windfall, he'd have wasted most of it on luxuries and then gambled the rest away on high-risk investments. Am I wrong for telling my fiancé that if he expects me to contribute 50-50, we're gonna have to make some serious lifestyle changes? Posted by Thrower Downsizing. Me and my fiancé are both 26. My fiancé sat me down yesterday and gave me a long talk about how he doesn't feel I contribute enough to the household, particularly in the financial sense. I was a bit caught off by this, but willing to hear him out, since he's not wrong. He makes a lot more than I do, and we've always split bills accordingly, which ends up being about 80% him. I asked what he wanted me to pay now, and he was adamant about it being 50-50. So I asked if everything was okay with his job, or if he needed to take fewer hours, and he wouldn't answer me. Honestly, I wouldn't have gotten upset if there seemed like an actual reason behind it. But he just said he's been thinking about it a lot, over and over. Every time I asked what brought him to this conclusion, what's going on? And eventually he just said, "This is how it's gonna be. Take it or leave it." Those exact words, in response to literally everything I said. Full shutdown, no explanations. I told him that was fine, I'll take it, and then I asked if he'd made a Zillow account yet, or expected me to. He looked confused and asked why would we need a Zillow account? I explained that there's no way I can afford half rent on our current place, so we'll probably have to move into a one-bedroom apartment. He got mad and asked why I didn't have savings. I told him that I do, but I'm not paying rent out of my savings. That's a terrible and unsustainable idea. I also began to go over what our new food budget would be, our new entertainment budget, and that we'd probably have to sell the cars and get one less expensive one, because I can't afford half the payments on an Audi and a Land Rover. Then I explained that date nights would probably have to be reduced too, and we could still do like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, but I preferred Thursday nights because you get 2 orders of boneless wings for 1. Basically, if he wants me to pay half, we're going to be living within my means, not his anymore. He kind of agreed with it, but since then, he's been incredibly angry. He's not saying or doing anything, but it's like he's walking around the house in this cloud of pissed off. I sent him 6 Zillow listings, all of which he called uninhabitable for various reasons. Some which I think were valid, others I disagree with. He's now saying that I'm being unfair and manipulative, and that he tries to come to me with a serious concern about our relationship, and I'm making it impossible for him to talk to me and bulldozing over him. Am I wrong about this? Down in the comments, someone says, "Can I ask what your salary is and what his salary is?" Like, general numbers. A charitable take on his actions could be that he resents not having more money, and is trying to inspire you to try and up your salary, or change into a more lucrative career, so you can both be living the high life. He might be imagining how great it would be to have 200% of his income, instead of 120. If that's the case, he's still going about it in a shitty way. Personally, I agree with many other commenters. Someone has insinuated that you're a gold digger, and he was expecting you to break up with him, not problem solve. OP responds and says, "I make around 35k a year. He makes around 120k a year. It's not like there's some magical be rich suddenly button I can press. I'm a preschool teacher, and I don't have a college degree, and I certainly can't afford a college degree at this point without asking for help or taking out insane loans." Another commenter says, "Not the asshole. To me, it sounds like something's happened with his job, and he's not able to tell you yet for whatever reasons. I will try and have another calm chat with him about it, also showing him how much you're able to afford long term. Don't move forward with your plans of getting married until you both agree on your finances." OP responded and said, "I asked about the job, and he wouldn't give me a straight answer. The frustrating part is, I honestly don't mind downsizing, and if I found out tomorrow that he lost his job, I'd literally be fine selling what we have and living in a trailer together off just my income. But this feels like some weird power play instead." Someone else says, "If you can barely afford your basic living expenses, then why the hell are you driving around in an Audi or a Range Rover? This is a classic example of lifestyle creep. If you barely make enough to contribute to rent, driving a luxury car is shameful. You're not the asshole, you're just a spoiled and unrealistic person." It's funny how this guy automatically assumes it's OP who has a spending problem. Like, bitch please, as soon as he brought up the money issue, she was like, "Yep, I'm on board," and comes up with all these amazing cost-saving measures. Well, he gets mad. OP responded and said, "He gave me the Audi as a birthday present. It's not something I was aware of until it was in the driveway with a big pink bow on it and confetti, literally like a car commercial. He's always had a bit of a flair for the dramatic." Update. So, last time I posted was Monday. Monday as a whole was just spent sort of going through what I felt and what to do next. There was a lot of silence, a lot of anger, and a lot of Reddit advice. Some which I found insightful, some which was less so. Also, some people think I made this up as part of a viral marketing sponsorship between Buffalo Wild Wings, Audi and Zillow, which honestly would solve my money problems if true, but alas, that's not the case. On Tuesday, after I got home from work, I just sort of walked up to him and explained as calmly as I could that I had questions, and if he actually wanted to marry me, he needed to be willing to answer them. I asked if he thought I was a gold digger, yes or no. He said yes. I told him I wasn't willing to be in a relationship where I have to prove myself by sacrificing any sort of stability. That led to a bit of a screaming match, and eventually, a confession. So it turns out we can't afford anything we have right now. We're in serious credit card debt, and the cars are both on the verge of being repossessed. I didn't know about any of this. He's been cutting corners on actual necessities, including psychiatric medication. That, in combination with some comments from his family, led him to some pretty dark places. My fiancé had a full breakdown and apologized for calling me a gold digger, which was nice to hear, but this whole thing has me pretty shaken up. I went to stay with a friend for a little bit. Yesterday, my fiancé and I did in fact go out to Buffalo Wild Wings and get the 2-for-1 boneless. We talked a lot. I'm still riding fiancé for now, and I really hope we can work our way through all this. We talked about how to sell the cars, we don't particularly have a choice at this point, and about my income and his income, and the sort of life we want to have. If we do stay together, we'll be changing how we live a lot. We need to get out of debt. We need to get on our feet. I know some people are going to say I'm being dumb for not immediately dropping all contact and giving up on the relationship, but I just can't do that. I can't look at the guy I love, who went off his meds to try and make a good life for me, and think he's not worth sticking around for. Or at least to try. I don't know what the future looks like anymore though, and the wedding is very postponed at the moment. Sorry this wasn't more of a fun update. Down in the comments, someone says, OP, has he come clean to you about what got you guys so deep in the hole? For it to get to the brink it did lifts more red flags in the air. He could be coping with an addiction problem, or something else that could destroy your life. You have got to figure this out as soon as possible. Please don't make any wedding plans. This is not the man you want to marry. OP responds and says he has. It's not gambling or drugs, like a lot of people are saying. It's an addiction to nice things. He's got a lot of financial hang-ups and comes from a family that replaced love with money. So he got it into his head that the only way to show love was to provide a very fancy sort of lifestyle, which was way over budget for us. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow, cutting back on everything, but it's what has to happen. I didn't write everything out in this post, but we did go over how the debt got this bad, and I'm currently aware of pretty much everything. There are some accounts I still need to look at this weekend, but for the most part, it's all above board at this point. We're definitely looking at the relationship, and I'm going to be taking a much more active role in life planning if we do continue. The wedding's on pause for an unknown amount of time. I'm already looking into places I can afford, and we'll probably end up renting a trailer. And no, I'm not lying for him. I told him point blank that hiding this stuff is what got us into this mess, and he's not going to be able to keep it under wraps if he wants to stay with me. We need to be upfront about our financial situation, whether he's embarrassed or not. I think that with some hard work, we'll both end up in a better position. We need to get out of debt, and I'm taking the reins for a bit, since he's never lived frugally before, and if all goes well, we'll get through this. I don't plan to leave if he sticks to what we're talking about and actually takes steps forward. I love this man, and I'll fight for what we have, but if he won't fix things, if he won't listen, and if he continues to disrespect me, I'm gone. But I genuinely believe we will get through this, and I know he can do better, and I believe he wants to. Now, he has to prove it. Well, the tables certainly turned, didn't they? Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.